And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wrestling Tonight. This is Hollywood Matt Connelly with the double biceps. It is a legal requirement every single time we appear on camera. We are appearing on camera right this second. The man to my left, but could be to your right, depending on what side of the screen you are looking at. If it is not an image, turn it over. You're looking at the back of the phone or the TV. How dare you? Outrageous. Is Richard Jennings has actually jumped in and he's won the first comment of the evening, but we are not interrupting the introduction of the esteemed man on the screen, who is the co-host, the co-founder, the co-wearer of clothes, the co-breather of air in this very room. It is none other than the master of disaster, the king of sting, the count of Monte Cristo. It is Thunderlips, the ultimate male. It is the Siberian bull. It is the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year award, and there it is somewhere. It's back there somewhere. It could be anywhere, but there is a Dave Stockbridge of the Year award, and it is held by the illustrious man with the illustrious beard on screen at the moment. It is none other than your friend and mine. It is Dave Stockbridge. Stockbridge, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Hollywood. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And we're joined this evening by France McGee. France, thank you so much for jumping in on the podcast. Always a pleasure to have the Siren on board. And tonight on Arm Wrestling Tonight, we're going to be talking about your first time at arm wrestling training, first time competing. We're going to be sharing the thoughts. We're going to be sharing hopefully some of the experiences of those people in the comments, as well as they share with us that very, very special moment in their lives when they first jumped on the table. Hollywood Matt Connelly's got a great story when it comes to this. First time on the table, and he found himself with none other than Devon Larratt, which is an astonishing situation. How did all of that come about, Hollywood?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're going to start a sport, you might as well start with the absolute best in the world. And, if you can't beat them, you might as well just stop right there. But if you can beat them, you've just won the whole sport and you don't have to do it anymore. But obviously I had no chance and I didn't move. Well, actually, I moved Devon's hand about from there to about there. And then I would take a breath and he would just go. And I would spend 4 minutes giving it everything to move him from there to there, and then I'd be like, and here we go.
Yeah, so I believe there's footage of this as well. Is Tim Graham the owner of this footage? Maybe there is.
On my channel.
Sorry,
it's on my. Let me find it for you.
Okay. It is out there, so this moment has been captured. So the arm historian, when he comes about doing the Hollywood Matt Connelly story, has some hard evidence, has some visuals to go along with this far-fetched tale of a young man from Adelaide, South Australia, jumping on to the arm wrestling table for the very first time, and happens to be gripping up with one of the greatest of all time.
See, my technique is flawless. I'm not even holding the pillow. There you go. I remembered. And
no carp, flat wrist. Yeah. What the heck, Matt?
That's right. Exactly.
You look pretty big there, though. You do.
Yeah. That helped. It helped with the illusion.
What was it at that point? 19 years in the gym.
It would have been close to it. Yeah. I think.
You're bodybuilding at this stage, or
right.
Are you?
Yep. And I had seen everyone on the internet that went against Devon. They all gave it their best effort and then quit. I was like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep trying. And I did.
Is that Tina behind you?
It is. Yeah. This is how old it is. Yeah, absolutely. Richard and Tina, and they were there. And this was the first time I'd met everybody. You can see Matt Bisco, I think, is in the background there as well. And Stephen with the glasses on the right. So, yeah, and that's Gunter's, I believe. That's just the other is, the man with the beard. Gunter's Bycrops, one of the Australian legends of arm wrestling. That table that we're on there, the yellow one, he actually has for sale at the moment.
Oh, you can buy. This is an authentic slice of iconic Australian arm wrestling paraphernalia. This is I mean, and not only that, but for no other reason than this is the table that experienced this moment with you. This is, and so $550 is on Marketplace, I think.
It is.
You can just go type in arm wrestling table. You can buy this right now, $550. I'm sure you can ship it overseas. So if somebody is watching internationally and wants this table in
Isn't
their
it
garage,
85 kilos or something? That would be very expensive transit.
83 kilos, yes.
And it's owned by Gunter Spijkovs, who's the former European, former Latvian, former Australian heavyweight champion, former AWE champion as well. So what a moment! What a moment! Did the gravity of that moment hit you then, or was it not until sometime later that you realised, hang on, that was Devin Larratt?
Well, that's the reason I went, because I had met Tim at the Arnold Expo in Melbourne, and he'd added me to the group, and he's all the way on the other side of the city to me, and that's where he was running the training. But in the little group thing, he'd put a thing up about Devin Larratt coming through, and I'd been watching Devin on YouTube. I knew who he was, but I was still a little new to everything. Like I knew who he was, but I was like, I don't know everybody. I haven't watched all the matches and that sort of thing. But I was like, oh, Devin Larratt's coming through. Yeah, I definitely want to meet him, and I'm not going to miss that. Except it was way out in bloody Gunter's place in the Barossa Valley, like 3 hours in the middle of nowhere. And yes, as I've said before, but I remember I was driving there, and my wife rang me, and she said, "You're going where to do what?" I'm going in the middle of nowhere to arm wrestle strange Canadian people.
My question, Matt, is how many days after that could you not lift your arm?
I don't think I was too bad. I think because it was Devin doing the seminar, so it was him talking and explaining technique for maybe an hour and a half, which of course I had no idea what he was saying at all. It was just me there going, oh, yeah. You do that with a tea towel, right? Okay, I don't even know what you're doing, but yeah. And then he arm wrestled everyone for like 4 hours straight. So yeah, you're sort of waiting in line. And when we were all exhausted, he was happy to stop at that point.
And French, I'm just assuming your first time arm wrestling was also with Devin Larratt or John Brazil?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Like
I flew over to Canada to meet Devin Larratt. No, my first time was actually with Matt, and I thought that his arm might have been made of metal at that point because I could not move it at all. There was no give. There was nothing. He was very kind. He was like, "Oh, you're so strong, but do it properly."
It sounds like that Devin Larratt, that coaching model was passed on to you.
Oh, 100%. He was actually really good. Like the first time, he's like, "All right, just like show me how you arm wrestle." So like, I did what you think you do when you arm wrestle, and he was like, "Okay, like." That was exactly that. He goes, "Okay, so let me show you some technique." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And yeah, that was really interesting. I was actually completely blown away. Like I would never have believed anyone that said that there was like this was a thing and there was technique. Like never. I'd never watched anyone. I didn't know who Devin Larratt was at that point. I'd never even watched Over the Top, which when I started telling people I was arm wrestling, like, have you seen this movie? So I've now watched it to say yes to people because it was like disappointment when I hadn't. But yeah, it was really cool.
And you come from a BJJ background. So did it take you long to understand there was technique and was there anything from your BJJ experience that you were able to quickly assimilate into your arm wrestling?
Yeah, I think I understood like the leverage side of things a bit better because I'd been doing that with my entire body for a while. The press made sense to me. It just felt like jiu-jitsu for my arms. With the micro adjustments are so much more important in arm wrestling than like jiu-jitsu, but it's really cool. I really enjoy it most of the time.
Most of the time. And how long have you been arm wrestling now?
It'll be 2 years in July.
Fantastic. Are your arms still hurting or?
Not normally. Do you know what? Do you know what? I actually found that I didn't have a lot of pain, probably from jits and all that kind of stuff. Like my arms were used to, arm bars and stuff. Occasionally, I get a little bit of pain, but I actually fractured my elbow not from arm wrestling, but while I was arm wrestling, and so the healing from that's been a bit slow, and I still get some pain. But otherwise, I'm normally pretty good. My biggest pain is my wrists and my hands. Yeah.
So what about yourself, Mr. Stockbridge? I know the story, but let's hear it from yourself.
Well, I think my mistake, it was my hubris in believing I would be the world champion of arm wrestling very, very quickly.
So humble.
Yes, yeah, I just assumed, and got out the gates on that idea pretty early, and it was soon revealed that I would be very fortunate to be a middling to average club competitor at my peak.
Yeah.
But I was even putting out, because this was during COVID. Like, any type of human interaction was something to aspire to. Yeah, not to be sneezed at.
God.
And I was putting up $50 if somebody wanted to challenge me. And anyway, there was I don't know if it's still out there, but arm bets it was like a Tinder for arm wrestlers, and you could log on and you could check it out. And you could see where the arm wrestlers were around you, and Taryn was on that app. So was Tim, and I kind of saw that Tim wasn't too far away because he worked in. Worked only a little bit further north of where I worked as well, and I thought, oh, that seems close, maybe, but maybe I can connect with him, and left a couple of messages for Tim Graham, and those advances were not accepted, and initially, and
How rude.
so I was wondering, okay, what's going on here? And then Taryn, though, he reached out, and he was having a few people training around at his house, and so I went around there, and I think Taryn was a little bit excited because I was a bit of a bigger guy, like the other guys were a little bit smaller, and I think I might have been a bit bigger than what I am now. So he was like, oh, okay, here's somebody, but yeah, it didn't really. Poor Taryn. I feel for Taryn. Like he was hoping to have some formidable opposition and somebody to train and sharpen his sword, and what he got was a butter man. That's what he got. And so I very, very quickly worked out after that first session that there was a lot of work to do before I got to that world championship status. After all, I quickly withdrew the offer of $50 to beat me from mine. Just very quietly, just withdrew that offer. And instead about doing some training and stuff, and back then, the club was maybe lucky if there was a handful of people that turned up on a Sunday night when COVID kind of blew over and things started to kick off, and and then not long after, that's when I got the opportunity. Tim Graham, he didn't receive. Oh, I did. I reached out. I have to log in and check. Please do.
He lies.
So so that started off our little love affair, our little bro affair there, and we've never looked back. It's been a happy day since. So I'm now curious to see whether the Armbets app is active, Tim.
Yeah.
So I'm really keen to see what's going on over there. So hopefully you can reveal that information to me. But it wasn't long before I connected with Tim, and Tim was kind of. He was just probably at the end of his tenure of being involved like mega heavily, because I think for many years Tim had been the president of the club or the association in South Australia. He'd been the go-to guy and carried that burden in a pretty solitary way, and he had a young family and work commitments and studying and a whole lot of things going on, and he was just in that process of handing on the baton to Matt when we first made a connection. I do remember catching up with Tim in a little cafe in Gawler one day, and he kind of gave me the lie of the land and let me know what the state of arm wrestling was in South Australia, and I was looking for a way that I might be able to get involved and help understanding that arm wrestling was at its very very early stage of its growth, and and Tim was very encouraging of me, and since then we got involved, and Matt was just grabbing hold of that baton at that juncture, and since then it's all gone on, and I'm very, very proud to say to this day we still partner, and Tim will be our referee at the Adelaide Oval in front of 1,000 raving combat sports fans on the 22nd of June, which is an event that Matt and I will be bringing to the world, involving Matarangi the Beast, Hedda Morris, and Brett Coots for the AWE Intercontinental Belt. So and
cool.
with a second match soon to be announced. So there's a Viking. There we go. Look at that. There he is. There he is. I feel like he got stronger and more charismatic as his beard grew longer as well. So
I wonder if he screams at his weights when he puts them down.
He might have. Let's put the sound on. Oh no, I put sound over the top. There's last. Oh, look at that top roll from Tim Graham there. Oh, and that's trying to slam sideways. Tim holding it. There he is. He's got it.
That grin.
Yeah.
My question, Dave, did you have any other martial arts or combat sport background before starting jiu-jitsu, before starting arm wrestling?
No, not as such. So I've been around that stuff, but vicariously through friends, but not actually, being an adherent to any particular discipline. I've been a weight trainer, most of my adult life, like Hollywood Matt Connelly. So had that type of background. Never
Is
really
that Siren?
Yep.
Oh my lord!
Look at him. Only recognizable by his biceps in that particular shot too. I've been around strength sports, that type of thing, but nothing in terms of martial arts or and arm wrestling for me was great, because my cardio is not that fantastic, and I felt like I was pretty strong, so I thought this is the perfect sport for me. I don't have to move much, and I might have some fun. But but it's really now the journey has been from just looking during that COVID period for not even looking for something. It just caught my eye, and for whatever reason, I think this is what people in religion might say is a calling. It's one of those things that the sport was very much a calling for me, and I thought, what, there's a lot that can happen in this sport, and I felt like there was a way that we could maybe make a pathway for athletes.
Baby Connor.
Sorry. That we could maybe create opportunities for them to make arm wrestling in itself a professional career pathway. And so the likes of people like Tim Graham wouldn't have to make a decision about whether or not they get serious and study a little bit more and skill up and they get a job, or maybe they, if Tim had the opportunity to divert all of his considerable talents and energy just into the sport of arm wrestling, maybe in 10 years time somebody like Tim could be making a significant income out of that, not have to choose between that fork in the road. So that's the passion project. That's what we're hoping to bring to the world and create these opportunities for athletes, both here in Australia and abroad.
Yeah,
absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you even start watching or become like the first time I saw arm wrestling as anything outside of schoolyard stuff was at the AWE, not the AWE, the DFC like open thing at Norwood. I saw you guys there, and I was like, because I had no idea it was beyond school. What made you start watching it or see it or anything?
From me, I think I might have just seen it during COVID on YouTube or
You're
on
right.
social media. I think it's just popped up, and I think this is the great potential for the sport. Full stop is the crossover effect. The various accounts that I follow and the people that I follow, and I'm casting my mind back. I've got a funny feeling it's somebody that I was following that experimented with arm wrestling. Maybe it was Tom and Juji when they were together on their channel. It was something like that. And then, once you oh, look at that. And once you meet me. Oh no, I won. I was going to say me losing there, but that's yeah. But there's just seeing how I love seeing it. Where an athlete's trying to try different things. They're getting in amongst it, and they're trying to learn something new and see how adaptable their strength is. And I really did think, that arm wrestling would be a great sport for me because I felt like, I've got that strength, I've got that, I've got that. But you don't realize how specific that strength is and how it's got nothing really to do with your bicep, although it does help. The reality is it's all in here. It's that plumber strength, it's that concreter strength that really matters. The strength of the hand, the wrists, and all of that type of thing. So I think Tim Graham's saying that he did respond to the very first message, so maybe I was bullshitting there. But I always had it in my mind that maybe Tim had rebuffed me early on, and maybe just carried a little grudge in my heart about that. Maybe.
Sorry.
Yeah. So that's been my journey with it. But I've it's a sport I love, and I really I enjoy watching people grow in the sport, and I enjoy the community that's around arm wrestling as well. I think I think it's a very special type of community that you don't get in the mainstream sports that we're familiar with here in Australia. I don't think you'll find this sense of community in, say, a football club or a cricket club or something of that nature. It's a very, very different vibe and a very, very important culture to continue to nurture. And I really do earnestly hope that culture doesn't change substantially as the sport continues to grow. And I guess I've been very, very fortunate to have exposure to some of the elite athletes from around the world, like Tim Graham, and in that experience, you see that same sense of camaraderie and care. Like a really good example was when Brett Coots was here in Adelaide, and what's Daniel? Is it the young Daniel who took out that heavyweight? And Brett's never met Daniel before, ever, up until that day. And, straight away, Brett was coming over and coaching him and helping him and nurturing and sharing some of his knowledge. And same, Brett with Ashley Hoet when she was here in Adelaide, straight away, on the table saying, oh, I think this is what you can do. And I just don't think you see that much at an elite level with I don't think you see it in golf. I don't think you see, Tiger Woods, walking around after a round of golf, having a chat to all the young kids and giving them some pointers and hanging out with them and lending these depths of experience. And although I might be wrong on that, I don't see that. I certainly don't see it at the end of a football game where the footy players, sit around and they teach all the kids all their techniques and what makes them a great football player. They're not really doing that after the game like you see in arm wrestling. So I think it's a really special culture that arm wrestling has, and I hope to see that prevail as the sport continues to grow.
Yeah, for sure. We're looking here at the Rooster versus French McGee from 2 Sundays ago. This is on left-handed match. You're flopped back here, Siren. What was going through your mind at this point?
Honestly, so I was just tired and sore. So we were meant to have this match. I don't know how many Sundays before that. He challenged me at the last AWE event and said, yeah, in 2 weeks, I'm going to take your left arm. Well, I ended up in hospital, so we didn't have that match. And then he went to Papua New Guinea, so it just got delayed and delayed and delayed. But as I said, I'd had that pain in my elbow, and it had just gotten worse and worse and worse. But I'd promised him, so I took the match. And at that point, my elbow was killing me, and I couldn't bring it across because it just hurt so much. I was just trying to like hold it to hopefully wear him out until I could not hurt so much down to the pad. Because I did not want to lose that one.
No, well, you won the match. Yeah, 3-1. Go ahead, Dave.
So do you? Sorry, Franz. When you're naturally having to compete against the guys all the time. So do you, when you're looking to compete against guys, you kind of think, okay, well, I'm competitive against men up to a certain weight, or are you? How do you kind of work out who's a fair competitor for you?
Can I be super honest? And
yes.
I don't. So you sort of have to go, you just take what you can get, right? Because there's not a lot of other women. Like, I was so grateful with Athena having this match with, like, because it's just nice to be able to pull with other girls, to pull on people that are a bit more even playing field, although I'm quite a bit bigger than her. So with the guys, it's just generally they come in, I know that I've got maybe a month or two where I can still beat them, unless they're like Danny. And then they're just going to be with their strength and then the technique if they learn. I've got not much hope after that.
Yeah. So you try and get them in the first few weeks,
and then don't ever get on with them again.
Crush them.
I mean, there are some people that, because I've always been, and I don't know why, but I've always been naturally strong. Like, I don't go to the gym, I don't work out, I don't do anything other than arm wrestling. Same when I was doing jiu-jitsu, but my body naturally builds muscle pretty easily, and I have to say I've still got strong hands from jiu-jitsu. Like, that really helped there. I don't know if you noticed, but I can my grip's pretty good. But yeah, so I'm naturally stronger. So there is a level where, I don't want to name names just for the sake of being polite, but I think we're going to be on a pretty even playing field for forever, because my size as a woman is pretty equal to their size as a man, and it's just what it is. But I think it's around about 70 to 80, 75 kilos as a dude. I can some of them I can, but then you've got people like Ash, who's stupid strong, but also so technical as well that I wouldn't stand a chance in hell.
Yeah.
It's so varied. Like, there's so many variables.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, and I think an interesting quandary for women in the sport, as their skill level gets higher and they get more technical. They've got to find that
balance,
that bracket of male competitors, but it's not quite the same. It'd be great to have more women in the sport. So if and actually, did you have a recent visitor from Brooke,
that was cool. That was really cool.
One of the strongest women in Adelaide, I believe.
Yeah, so I have to say, her forearms are stupid. I was just showing her some stuff, and I was trying to point out like what you're using, and I sort of just touched her arm, and I was like, that is freaking solid. Like, I have never felt a woman's arm be like concrete in there. It was incredible, and I was so impressed. And she picked up a lot really quickly. I was really impressed with how quickly she sort of picked it up, and it made sense to her. So I think if she keeps, and she has said to me she's already looking at training tools to help her practice for it. So I think if she does, pick it up and keep going, she'll be quite formidable
So was she competitive with you from the get-go, or do you feel like she's got a
she's really strong. Like, she's incredibly strong. I think the one benefit I have is my hands might be slightly stronger than hers, so that was helpful for control. But I also don't know that she was actually giving everything as well, because I'm aware that she has got nationals coming up and stuff so maybe she wasn't, but I can't speak to that. But I mean, she was very good. And I look forward to, because it'll help me grow as well when I've got someone there to push me.
Yeah. Do you even have footage there, Matt? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
There we go. So this is Brooke's one of Australia's strongest women, and she's a strong woman competitor and powerlifter, and working under the tutelage of Jordan Biggie Steffens, who is is a former holder of several world records and has competed in World's Strongest Man. It was my lunch date yesterday, actually. So I don't actually know. I don't actually know whether or not he knew she was down at the arm wrestling.
He knew.
I did.
So
I did
let's hope he's
ask
not
her.
watching.
I've sent the footage to him.
Dibba dobber.
No, he knew she was going.
I did ask because I said, like, because she came to the AWE event and I jumped on the table with her for very quick, but Jordan was like very gentle because she's got this comp coming up, and so I said, oh, does she know that? Does he know that you're here? And she's like, well, I kind of just like maybe mentioned it, but kind of also just slid it under the table a little bit. So.
And I guess it's harder for women to have those idols in the sport. Like a lot of the young guys that are coming through, they might have seen Devon, or they've
Lucky's my idol.
Lucky.
Lucky's my idol. Yep.
Fantastic, wonderful, good to know. And maybe that's a nice segue into the comments, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got Lucky Wood from the Lucky Ones podcast right here. The comment on screen at the moment.
I'm going to turn mine so I can actually read them because I can't see them like that.
That's okay. Iron sharpens iron with the ladies is so important. We'll go right up to the top here. Richard Jennings winning the first comment of the night of Ward. Ash Sharma not far behind. He says, yo, it's me. But then he says, oh, nah, it's French. Back again. And then he left.
Rude, Ash Sharma.
And then he left.
Richard Jennings says good evening and good afternoon. Tim Graham says insert scream here because he does like
to I hate it
and scare French to death. Said that Armbet is still alive. He said he was probably scared still when you sent the message to him. He screamed at his weights as well.
That makes me so happy.
He says, where did I get that footage? That is on my channel, Tim, as all of the Titans footage is. That was from 5 years ago. So there you go. That's one of the first ones that I did.
From the archives.
Mateo Warangi Hetamoris is here. He says, arm wrestling is a beautiful sport, and we are looking forward to seeing your match 22nd of June here in Adelaide at the Diamondback Fighting Championship, taking on Brett Coots in a right hand for the Intercontinental belt. We can't wait to see
on the
that.
line.
That's right. This was Lucky's first jump into the show. She says French. Oh my god.
Lucky.
What's the H bit? Oh my god. The H. What's
oh my
H?
god. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
She's just so excited. Okay, leave her alone.
What's the H bit though? She's put it twice.
It's excitement. It's emphasis.
It means hello. Oh my god. Hello. I don't know. All right, Bailey Rogers says, hey, what's good? Hey, Bailey, good to see you. Haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. Make sure you come back on Sunday.
I think he's got a match with Rooster.
Oh, there you go. That'll be good. We'll get to see that again. Rooster and I have beef forever since he got to super match my bestie. I want my turns.
Yeah, I would like you to have your turn as well, Lucky. Come to Australia, please.
Tim says, you have a YouTube channel, Matt? Yes, I do. I do, Tim. You would know that if you'd subscribe to it.
Rude. What a terrible friend.
There we go. Gosh, says Lucky. What's the H for, Lucky? I want to know now. You've got me intrigued. I'm trying to think of anything that it could be, and I'm just coming up blank. Dave, any thoughts on H? What's the
My
H?
thought is it's literally emphasis.
Emphasis? With a
It's
H?
like, oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
If I'm right, I want $50.
Well, when you put an exclamation point, that's a lot easier than a H. An obscure letter. Let's go with a H.
Girls understand.
No one understands. I'm waiting on Lucky to get back to us to find out what the H is. So
She'll never tell. She's now going to say it's emphasis just so I can be right. Whether it was or not, I don't know.
Outrageous behavior. Girls sticking
Oh my
together
gosh.
as always.
Okay, there we go.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Damn it, Lucky, you were supposed to say emphasis.
There you go. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Should have thought of that, but I couldn't think of it. But there you go.
There you go. There you go. We've all learned something tonight, haven't we?
That's right.
Yes.
So what we've learned is that French is wrong.
So
that's what I already knew that. I knew that. It's an often occurring event, unfortunately.
It's an important lesson to know, people. French is wrong.
A lot. I have zero qualms. I'm quite happy to. Yeah, thank you, Lucky.
You can't change it now.
Too little, too late, Lucky.
You already gave it away. Kiwi Sam has jumped in to wish Grant Law a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dad. Hope it's amazing. Honest to God, okay, so I still remember us singing happy birthday to him at the last AWE event for his birthday, and it still makes me laugh. Like the other night I was going to sleep and I've got ADHD, so my brain goes mental, and that just came through my head, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I just started giggling.
Three-quarters of the room were in on the joke, and everybody else was too polite not to sing happy birthday. So
the fact that random people were going up to him after and saying happy birthday, and he had to just be like, yeah, thanks.
I tricked Ryan, and even just this Sunday, just gone, I told Ryan that it was Grant's birthday. He went up and shook his hand.
Oh, we love you. We love you, Dad. He's like giving me daggers and neck slice motions, and I could not stop laughing for so long. Best joke ever.
Yeah, that's so good. All right. Well,
we should do it at DFC.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Dave's got the mic, so he probably could do it. Maybe we should have wrapped things up there. We've hit the 36 minute mark.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's outrageous. The humanity.
Thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure to be here.
That's all right. Who are you again?
I don't even know anymore.
Always good to have you on the show. And yes, looking forward to seeing your next rematch with Ryan.
Hopefully, no, it won't be. I'm actually not going to be pulling on my left for like a while. It's pretty bad at the moment, so I really need to actually let it heal. It's not good. Like I can't even dry my hair without pain at this point. So we're not going to have a left arm rematch for a while.
My favorite thing is at a hotel when you get one of those hair dryers that has the power of an elderly relative breathing on you. Is this full power? It's on full.
Yeah,
it's to match the water pressure in the shower, by the way. So
it's perfect. If the look you're going for is hot and wet, they're ideal.
If the look I'm going for is trash, we did it.
Oh, there we go. All right, Lucky's got to rewind it and watch it from the start.
Love you, Lucky.
Very good. All right, and final thoughts, Dave, as we head out.
Oh, well, I just want everybody after tonight's podcast to give a little bit more thought to their first time at the arm wrestling club or first time on the table, and just to give a few moments in their day just to think about that moment and why it is that they love the sport so much. So, and as you're thinking about that, we just hope that it's enough. If you haven't been to training like myself for a little while, it's enough to just make you inspired enough to go and get back on the table one more time, or it's enough to motivate you to keep coming along and keep loving arm wrestling, as Coach Ray would say. So thank you to everybody who joins us each and every time we put on one of these podcasts. Thank you very much to all those people that take the time to comment and that watch, whether you're watching now live or maybe you're just checking this out on Facebook in 3 days' time. But we love you. We thank you for tuning in, and we can't wait to see you next time.
Thank you, guys.